This is one way to start your canopic jar with a lid. So we are going to be dividing up and wedging our clay. I'm putting aside some clay for the head and some for the attachments I'm going to add, and then I'm going to smash my clay together on the table and in my hand so it's one solid piece without air bubbles. And then we're going to make a pinch pot. I'm going to take that ball of clay and stick my thumb in the middle and pinch evenly around in a circle so it starts to form like a little cup. And I want to keep the walls nice and even. I don't want to make them too thin. I'm going to make my bottom flat by hitting it on the table, and I'm going to use this guide to make sure it's about the size of that circle there for the bottom of my cup. So I can clean up my circle, make the bottom look nice and neat, but I want to make sure my walls are also nice and neat. If one side's getting too thick, we need to spread that around to the other side. If it's getting too wide, you can press it in together. And this really works when the clay is in its plastic stage, where it's really bendable and moldable. I can keep moving it back and forth. The drier your clay is, the more likely this will cause it to break. So it's important to do this while your clay is still flexible. And you can easily clean up any mistakes that you might make. So I'm building up the walls so that it's about a hand height, it's like a finger height high. Pressing it back in and trying it to make it nice and round as possible. Once I have the general shape, the bottom's the right size, I have it about the height I want, I can go ahead and make the head shape. So I'm going to make another pinch pot. It's going to be a little smaller, and I'm going to keep it round on top, but I'm going to use the base to decide how big the head should be, so it is proportional and it fits. So once my walls match and it sits on it nicely, I'm going to clean up the sides, clean up those edges so that it can sit on top of each other and not like rattle around. This is what it's going to look like when it's a little more dried out. That's a bone dried piece right there. But now we're going to attach the pieces on the inside that are going to prevent the lid from coming off. So I'm going to take a piece of clay, roll it into a coil, and fold it so I have this nice little horseshoe loop shape. I'm going to score it, and I'm going to score the inside of my lid, the inside. And then when you attach it, smooth it down so it becomes one. It should not go over the lip of the jar. It should sit on the inside so that you don't see it from the outside. Use the base of your jar to help you fit it back on and make adjustments, but do not let it get stuck while it's still in this plasticky stage. So don't put too much pressure when you apply your lid back to the body of your jar. I'm going to do this a second time, so I have two little prongs keeping my jar together. Scoring and slipping the inside of the lid and the little clay loop that I've made. And when I blend it, I am keeping the lip of the jar intact. So once you have both pieces, you can start to shape them together, make the body shape that you are looking for that's going to render your animal. If it needs to be rounder or taller or thinner, this would be the time to adjust that shape while the clay is still plastic. I'm using my loop tool here to remove clay to give it a nice even fit. And next up, we'll talk about adding attachments. You're going to add attachments to make it look like your animal, both on the front and the back, and the lid. The lid should be the head. Whatever attachments you add, you need to score and slip both pieces and blend them out smoothly before you put in your details. So this is the first way to start your canopic jar. In the next video, I'm going to show you another way you can also start this jar before you go and finish with details. And